Scoot over so you guys can see the picture here. I am not putting any trailers because I don't want to get copyrighted. That has happened before, so I'm just gonna have a picture here, and I'm gonna be reading the actual Google bio of these movies because I suck at explaining some of these movies. I don't want to give anything away. So the first movie that we are going to be talking about is called As Above, So Below. This movie is on Netflix. It is phenomenal. So it's basically about an archaeologist student. She has devoted her whole entire life to finding one of history's greatest treasures, which is called the Philosopher's Stone. Most of us already know that or know of that stone. According to the legend, the artifact can grant eternal life and turn any metal into gold. When she learns that that stone is hidden underground in the catacombs of Paris, she assembles a crew to guide and document her historic mission. As they begin their descent, the team members have no way of knowing that they are entering their own personal hell. This movie has that cave type of vibe, and it's well written. It keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. My boyfriend does not like horror, like I said, but he talks about it till this day. He loves this movie. And there is gore, but not crazy amount of gore. It's more of like, what's gonna happen next? So I have talked about this movie a couple months back, because I was just so mind blown, and I'm still mind blown by it because it was such a strange movie to me, yet I couldn't believe like the ending. It was like, what? Did that just really happen? So if you're into like history, artifacts, if you're into like the Philosopher's Stone situation, you will really like this movie. Even if you're not, I'm not into history like that. Obviously, I know what the Philosopher's Stone is. It is recorded in the point of view aspect. There is more of like, they have these, I don't know if it's GoPros or something, but that's how this movie is made. So it's not like a steady camera. It's just like these little cameras. They're like vlogging kinda, but not for social media, for history purposes. It's got that Paranormal Activity kind of camera vibe going on, and I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at this movie. I will recommend this movie until the day I die because it was that freaking good, and the ending made it even better. Seven in Heaven. This movie is also located on Netflix. It is very different. It's not more of the horror situation. It's more of like the thriller and mystery vibe. You will be a little confused if you do not pay attention to this movie, but it is good. So the movie is about two teenagers, Jude and June. They emerge into a dangerous alternate reality after exiting a closet where they have been playing Seven in Heaven. Jude finds, which Jude is the boy and June is the girl. Jude finds that in this new reality, he has been accused of murder while June is attacked while walking home. It's such a weird movie, and it really makes you think, like, is there another alternate reality than what we're living right now? Is there a parallel universe? It really gets you thinking, and it is such a good movie. There's no gore in it. It's more of mind tricks. It's more of like, how are they gonna get out of this situation, and who ended up killing that person that died? Who was the real killer? You have to figure all of that out in this movie, and I didn't figure it out until the end because it was that hard to unsolve this movie while watching it. Most of the time I am really good at knowing who the killer is and how they're gonna get out of certain situations. I'm usually like, I would tell my boyfriend like, oh, this is what's gonna happen, and then it happens and he's like,
how'd you know that? Did you watch this before?
and I'm like, no, I just know. And this movie, I was wrong. I really thought I knew what was gonna happen, and I didn't really know. If you're into thriller and mystery, watch this one. P2. This movie is located on Tubi TV. It is a huge roller coaster. This movie is more of a fight or flight kind of movie. So it's basically about a girl named Angela. She's working late on Christmas Eve. When she finally decides to leave, she goes down to the parking garage to get her key, but it won't start. Thomas, the garage's security guard, offers to help. He also invites Angela to dinner, but she refuses. Thomas knocks her out. She wakes up in Thomas's office, chained to a chair and in different clothes. Now Angela must fight for her life in order to escape the garage. So this movie is intense. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if there's any trigger warnings in here. I think it does have a little tiny gore in it, mostly with just her trying to escape. It is the scariest thing. If you really think about it, this can happen. And those are the kind of movies that scare me the most. And you got your fingers crossed the whole time, like, please survive. She's gotta survive after this. Again, it's one of those movies that can happen in real life, and I feel like those are the scariest movies. So I want to put this out there. This movie, again, is more of a thriller / mystery, and with a huge twist. So you have to pay attention to every detail in this movie. If you get up and go get a drink, you're going to be lost. You need to pay attention. Because I had to watch this movie twice to be like, how did I not see that? Sweet but lonely Seth spends his days working in an animal shelter. He has a chance encounter with a beautiful young waitress, Holly. Obsessed, he tries everything to win her over. Time and time again, she rejects him, leading him to steal her journal and make a plan to kidnap Holly. After Seth takes Holly, she wakes up in a cage beneath the animal shelter and is being treated like the dogs living above her. I'm gonna put that out there. I was not a fan of the ending, but everyone else has their own opinion. There's some people I know that love the ending. For me, I kind of wanted something a little bit better than that. Other than the ending, I am very pleased with the storyline. Yeah, it's just one of those movies that makes you think, like, are people really capable of this? It kind of makes you see a different side of people, if I could put it in those kind of words. So I know this movie is not talked about as much on the YouTube community or online community at all. So I figured I would share this with you guys. This movie is located on Tubi TV. I don't know if I said that in the beginning, but it is a free movie. So check it out for your next movie night if you want to be confused. And the next movies that I want to talk about are two. So they are part 1 and part 2, and we are talking about The Collector and The Collection. These movies are very gory. Keep that in mind. It is kind of up there with The Saw. I would put it that way. So these movies are also located on Tubi TV. They are free. Let's start off with The Collector. The Collector is part 1. I know this can get very confusing because they both have kind of the same name or similar name. The Collector is part 1. You must watch part 1 before watching part 2. If not, you will be lost. So part 1 is about a guy that's desperate for money to pay off his debt. A man targets a wealthy family's home and plans to break in and steal a valuable gem. He soon learns that he picked the wrong night to carry out his plan. For a masked madman has gotten there first, imprisoned the family, and lined the mansion with deadly traps. Deadly traps is an understatement, okay? These traps are something that only a sicko could think of. There is a lot of trigger warnings in this movie, so please look them up. I can't even remember all of them at this point. This movie is just straight up horror, gore, and a little bit of a mystery because you want to know who this guy is in this mask. This guy, the contractor that needs to pay off his debt, he's got to get out that house now because he realizes that he walked into a horrible trap that he don't know if he's going to get out alive. So it's kind of like he's at the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe a little bit of karma on his side because he was gonna steal. So you know what comes around goes around. So that is part 1. Let me tell you guys about part 2. So part 2 is based in a nightclub. A young woman named Alina sneaks out of her house one night to attend an exclusive party, unaware of the horror that awaits her. A sick criminal known as the Collector crashes the party in search of fresh victims. When Alina goes into hiding, she finds and frees her friend. I don't want to read the last part of the bio because it's gonna ruin part 1 for you guys. With part 2, you will get a lot of answers from part 1 because part 1 leaves you on a cliffhanger. So you will not be disappointed. I absolutely love the ending to both of them, and this is like one of my top favorite gory horror movies. Even though I'm not into gore, this is just something that I can't turn my back away from because it's such a well thought out storyline from first movie to second movie. Amazing. The acting is on point. It's an insane amount of torture in these two movies. I would have to say the most goriest one would be part 2. Part 2 is actually the scariest one to me. Part 1 was more of like the beginning and it's not that bad until you get to part 2 and it's like in your face gore and horror and a lot of jump scares. But you will not be disappointed with this movie if you enjoy horror. It is a classic. I don't know anybody that doesn't like these movies. Everybody that I've talked to about them, they always say the Collector and The Collection, A+. So there you guys have it. Those are my 5 horror and thriller recommendations for this Friday. I will be back next Friday with more recommendations. It won't be horror and thriller, it'll be a different genre. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next Friday. Bye.